Good day, my friends. This is Francis here again with another weekly forecast. So in this week's forecast, I'm going to be talking about AUD-USD, Euro-AUD, and EURCAD. As usual, I'll be analyzing this pairs from the larger time frames down to the smaller time frames, showing the most likely positions price will be retesting and crossing before it arrives at the destination target this week. So I will advise you to stick to the end of the video because I'll be giving a bonus analysis at the end of the video. Without further waste of time, let's get down to the analysis. So firstly, I'll be identifying the major levels in the market as usual. Okay. One down at this point. We have one at this point. Okay, one around here. There's also one at this point. Okay, let's go back so we can adjust this properly. Okay, this is the best position for that. One at this eye. Okay, so these are the levels I'm going to be paying attention to as regards horizontal lines. So up next, let's go and identify the trend lines in this on this daily time frame. So firstly, I'll be drawing one from this low. Good. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So these are the lines I'll be paying attention to from the daily time frame. Now from this daily time frame, we can see clearly that the market has been in an uptrend for some time now. You had from this low, you had one lower high, one higher high, lower high, we had higher high, then through this area we had consolidation before the break, a little higher high, lower high, higher high, a little lower high, then before we had the explosion upwards. So after that, what is most likely, what would we have been expecting? We would have expected that at some point this retracement will come. And what can we see now? This trend line we have over here, as you can see, we had it start over here, we had one touch at this point, and then you can see price respecting that area once again as support. So from this, I can expect most likely a continuation upwards or a break of this area. Then on the retest, I'll be taking a sell down to this trend line target. So let's go to the 4 hours time frame and see what we have. From the daily time frame, there's a little bit of indecision. We need to the price can either go up or down. So let's go into the 4 hours time frame and see what we have from the 4 hours point of view. Okay, so from the 4 hours time frame, we can see that we had from this area, we had one high, one lower high, higher high, and then a lower high followed before we had this explosion to the upside. And then after that, we can see our price just started gliding up before the break downward happened. And if I should draw a some trend lines here, you will see that we actually had a wedge pattern. See that we actually had a wedge pattern on this pair, and you can see how there was a test at this point. You can see how there was a test at this point, one at this point, then broke, retested it as resistance, and from here we would have been expecting to see the continuation downwards, but this was a bear trap. If you are taking a trade there, you would have gotten stopped out. So that's why you should always have a good entry rule to take a trade. And then what happened next? We had price push back up into 70.13 at this point, made a large pin bar signal. You see this pin bar signal that formed over here? That is that was the confirmation for this move. That was one of the confirmations for the move downward. It wasn't the major confirmation. That's not the major confirmation for the move downward. But you can see how this rejection happened, rejecting these whole areas of previous support as resistance, also this top resistance. So what happened next? The push downward happened. So now we have price at support, and what, looking at this, you can still see that we had a double top pattern here. We have the neckline at this point, and you can see how price came and retested the neckline at this point here. So from that area, you could have been expecting to see a continuation lower, a break of this ascending trend line and continuation lower. But now what can we see here now? We can see that price has started forming a new double bottom pattern at this point. So if we will see a break of this level upward, then I'll be expecting to see a retest of this area right here as support, and I'll be taking my next buy trade for the next impulse higher. But if on the other hand I get a break of this area, then on the retest of this trend line support as resistance, I'll be taking my next sell to this support and perhaps this ascending trend line. So those are the scenarios we have playing out on AUD/USD. Let's go to AUD card. Okay, so on AUD card, before I start, I'll be identifying the major levels as well. I have one at that point. I have one at this low. I have one right here. I have one at this point. Yes. Need to make sure the line takes as much wicks as possible. Then lower, I have one at this point. I have one lower over here. Then finally I have one at this point. Okay, so these are the horizontal levels I'll be paying attention to. Next up, let's add a channel. Okay. Okay. No, this is the best point. Okay, so as we can see, we have this channel over here. So now, what do we have on Euro AUD? We can clearly see the market came into this channel, as we had some kind of consolidation around this point right here, forming a type of triangle pattern. And whenever you see triangle patterns in the market, you wait for a break, and then we had the break of the pattern, and then what happened? We have a retest of the pattern right now. So what can how can I summarize this? We have previous support at this point, a strong support. You can see our price rejected it once over here, rejected it once at this point, rejected it once at this point before the break, and now all these supports has turned into resistance at this point. And as added confluence, we have this descending channel resistance at that same point, indicating that we'll most likely be seeing a move to the downside this coming week from EURAUD. So from the time frame, I'll be expecting to see a continuation downwards. Okay, so let's go into the 4 hours time frame and see what we have there, so we can have an idea of when to go into this trade. So from 4 hours time frame, I'll be adding one more trend line. So now this is the trend line I have from the 4 hours time frame. So with this, what does this mean? It means that downward move I talked about on the daily time frame is not ready yet, and I will explain why. Now we had this push down here, we had this little bit of consolidation right here, and then what happened? We had a break of consolidation, and before the break we had a higher low. After a higher low, we had an higher high, and this is the characteristics for an uptrend. So on the 4 hours time frame we have an uptrend, on the day time frame we have a downtrend. Is not aligning just yet. So what I'll be waiting for will be for price to get to this area, then price might find support around this area, and if price will find support at this area, then we might be seeing a pushback up to this resistance at 65.32 before the break lower will occur, forming a double top pattern. So that's a scenario that may play out on EURCAD, seeing price from this support at 63.48 going back to 65.32 before the break. And this is because we have an uptrend. You can't be taking a sell trade when you have an uptrend. That's not a wise thing to do, because for all I know, the price could find support here, and from here we have the break of this descending channel retest, and we just this uptrend will just keep following like that. So I'll be waiting for price to get to this area. Then from this area, I want to see if the rules of my entries will be satisfied, then I'll be taking a long trade into this support here, into this resistance at 65.32. Then at that area, I'll start looking for short trades back down. Once price has broken this ascending trend line, you shouldn't be looking to take a major short trade to this lows, because you could have a bounce of this support, and it will just continue with this 4 hours uptrend to the upside like that. So for now, I'll be expecting to see price get to this place, from here back to this resistance, and I'll be waiting for a break of this trend line for continuation downwards. But if on the other hand I'll get a break of the channel resistance, then it means I'll be looking for continuation into 67.80. So that's going to be all on EURAUD. Let's go into the next pair, which is EURCAD. Okay, so on EURCAD, first of all, let me identify the major levels in this market. We have one right here at the weekly close. We have one at this high. We have one down at this low. Let's still look for one or two below. We have one at this low. We have one. This is choppy. Let's scroll back, see if we can get something good. Okay, so we have one at this point, and the last level I will be paying attention to will be this. Okay, so what can we see Okay, let me add one more, a channel. Okay, good. So now from this, what can we see from this chart? We can see first of all, what is glaring is a flag pattern. And this is a bullish flag. And normally after a bullish flag like this, what you would expect next will be a break, retest, and continuation higher. So that's the first thing we have. But what we can see here again is that we had the daily close above this descending flag resistance, which was supposed to indicate the continuation higher. Aside from that, you can see that this area has been acting as resistance for some weeks now, and this area has been acting as support. So this was a range the price has been trading within for about 2 or 3 weeks, and price closed above that level on Thursday. Only from Friday, price came back to that level. So at this point, what will I be doing next? Now I know that I have previous resistance I expect to turn into support at this point, but now price has closed back within this descending trend line, the descending channel resistance, which is now so as price has closed back below this line, there's a possibility that we might be seeing a retest and continuation lower to this support, and there's also a possibility that it will reject this support at 52.83 and continue higher. So let's see how we can trade around that from the 4 hours time frame. Meanwhile, from daily time frame, it can go either way. As long as we have a close back within this channel, then we can see a continuation into this support again. But if we get a rejection, Monday's candle is what will tell us what will happen next on this pair. If we get a rejection from here, then we'll be looking at possibilities of price climbing higher. This full impulse we had over here might be repeated over here. So let's go into the 4 hours time frame and see what we have from a 4 hours perspective. Okay, so from the 4 hours time frame, firstly what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding one more line, which will be this trend line. Good. So what we have from here now on the 4 hours time frame, like I already highlighted, we had a range at this point, we had a break above and a break back below the range. So I'll be expecting to see a rejection of this area, of this old area, and if I'll get a rejection of that area from Monday's candle, then I'll be looking for one of my valid signals to take the next trade up into this area, because we already have an uptrend. You can see that from here we had this low, we had higher high, and this could be acting as a higher low, as an higher low. So from that area we'll be expecting the next push upwards. So that's a scenario that may play out. But if on the other hand I'll get a close below this level and this ascending trend line, then it means we won't have a continuation upward, rather we'll be seeing price dropping back to support at 15.92. So that's going to be all on EURCAD. We're either going to be seeing a break back below, retest, then we know that this was a false break and we'll be expecting continuation into 15.92. But if we get a rejection of this entire area here, then we'll be seeing a rise into the resistance at we'll be seeing a rise into the resistance at 55.80. So that's going to be all from EURCAD. And then now the bonus I talked about will be a euro NZ, a pound NZD trade. That's the bonus I talked about. So for this particular trade, I'm going to be starting my analysis from the weekly time frame. So firstly, what can we see from the weekly time frame? We have a multi-year channel on this pair, a multi-year channel. So right here, yes, so what we can see from this multi-year channel, let me take my drawing tool. We can see how the price came and then retested to this high, consolidated around there, came lower, touched the bottom of the channel again, and then we had price back at this channel. And now what do we have? Price is most likely coming back to the support of the channel at that low. So one more trend line to add to this. Alright, so you can see this trend line clearly from here. This was a wedge pattern, adding this and this. We had the break at this point with this candle, this weekly candle. The next week we had a retest, and since then we've been seeing how price has been dropping, and we might see this drop happen right to this channel support right here before we start looking for new signs for buying back to the top of the channel. So this is what we have from the weekly time frame, a market that is in a very strong selling impulse right now. So let's go into the daily time frame and draw our horizontal levels. Okay, so firstly I have one level right here. I have another level at this point. Okay, so next I have one level right at this low. And let's go back and see if we can pick one or two more levels. I have one at this low, then maybe one or two above. I have one right here, and finally I have one right here. Okay, so I'll adjust this a little. Alright, so these are the major levels I'm going to be paying attention to in this video. So next I'll be adding trend lines and channels. So here we go, we have one trend line at this point. So what can we see on the daily time frame from here? First of all, we can see a very clear downtrend, just like I already highlighted from the weekly time frame. We had the break and continuation downwards. So I'll delete this weekly trend line over here so we can have a clean chart. So now we can see that from this area we had one low, a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and right now we're having a lower high. So from this area we will most likely be expecting to see the next lower low into this support or thereabouts, or we might still see a rise back to this area for a better opportunity before we take the trade downwards. So from this area now we can either see a continuation to this resistance so that we can be able to take the trade down to the support, or we can see a break of this support, then on the retest as resistance we'll take the trade. So let's go into the 4 hours time frame and see what we have from 4 hours point of view. Okay, so first thing on the 4 hours time frame, I'll be adding a channel. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'll be adding this channel right here. Yes. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so what can we see from the 4 hours time frame now? We still have a downtrend and the channel following this downtrend. You can see how the price came to this point. We had some kind of slow consolidation, came back to this channel, then we had the push lower. Then from this area now, we had some kind of consolidation, although the price didn't get to the channel resistance which I expected to see, and then we have price pushing back lower. So from this area, how do we proceed? I'll be adding one more trend line to this chart. And so from this area, if we should add a trend line to right at this point, we can see that we had a little bit of uptrend over here, one high, a low, higher high, and then from this area I was expecting to see price touch this area or this area like I was expecting on the day time frame. But with this already, we can see that the price has changed its direction from a bullish market to a bearish market. So what I'll be expecting now will be a retest of previous support as resistance right here. I'm expecting to see retest of previous support as resistance at that level. So I'll put a rectangle at that point. So right at this point, I'll be expecting to see price move back from this low into this area. Now this area, I'll be watching out for one of my valid entry signals to take this sell lower into the support at either 90.14 or the base of this channel. I prefer the base of this channel because from here price could bounce back up again. I don't want price taking me back to my entry. So I'll be watching out for this area. I'll call that 91.91. So that's the area I'll be watching out for to take my exit once my entry rules have been satisfied at this point. So that's going to be all with today's analysis. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, click on the bell notification to enable you get our content whenever we upload them. Then leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. If you have questions, ask. I'll be more than willing to answer you. So till we meet in the next video, do stay profitable and have yourself a wonderful weekend.